I am living Schrodinger's thought experiment in real time. At this moment, in my mind, my cats are both alive and dead. Also, my house is both perfectly fine and completely destroyed. I am trudging through knee-deep snow. I have half a mile to walk. I have just driven 200 miles. I don't know what's happening at home. Are my cats out of water and food? Has the big tree in our front yard fallen from the weight of the snow and destroyed my living room? I'm not going to know till I get there. I went to my first science fiction convention when I was 14 years old, and I started doing theater when I was 17. And something that I learned very early on doing community theater is the overlap between people who are into Doctor Who and Star Trek is pretty significant with people who are really into the musicals Cats and Les Mis. So when I saw an announcement for an event called Broadway Con, I was immediately intrigued. It, just as you would expect from the name, it was like a sci-fi convention, but for fans of Broadway theater. It was going to be held in New York City in January of 2016, and I was excited by the possibility of going to this thing. I asked my wife, Kim, if she'd like to come too, and I had dragged her to a science fiction convention once, and she didn't care for it. But Broadway sounded intriguing, plus trip to New York, not so bad. She agreed to go with me. This was going to be fantastic. There were going to be a slew of legitimate Broadway stars. There was going to be a reunion of the original cast of Rent, and there was going to be a panel starring the original and at that moment current cast of Hamilton. So I book our room, I get our tickets, and we're ready to head up there in January of 2016. About a week and a half before the con is set to start, the first reports of possible bad weather start coming in. We're watching Channel 4 and Doug Kammerer gets that frenzied look in his eye that he gets when he knows he's going to be able to talk about snow totals and weather impacts. And as the days go on, his eyes burn all the more bright. And as this happens, I realize I have to assess this situation. What am I going to do about this convention? Now, things were turning out okay for getting up there. We were leaving Thursday. The snow wasn't supposed to hit until Friday. We'd get up okay. The challenge would be getting back home at the end of the weekend. So I juggled that. The other problem was, what's happening at home if we're gone? There's no one to watch the cats. We have a cat sitter who comes in, but it's possible the roads are going to be blocked. Also, I'm worried that we're going to have some real damage. They're talking about significant snows. There's going to be 2 feet of snow. Now, differently, New York City is only supposed to get about a foot. Now, I've been in New York when they get snow. They can handle it. Washington? We can't do 6 inches. So mentally, the better place for me to be is New York. The reason for this is 5 years earlier, we'd had those 2 snow storms come through, Snowpocalypse and Snoverkill. And during those events, we lost power for 3 days. I spent hours shoveling our driveway and then coming in to a house that was cold and rapidly running out of food. It was a stressful time. I was worried the entire time about what might happen. And those storms kind of broke me. Blizzards were now boogeymen who could do horrible things to me. But I was torn. Which would be worse for me? I went to my wife and I said, maybe we should consider not going. Maybe that's the safer choice. Well, what are you worried about happening if we're not here? Well, the cat sitter can't get in. He won't, what would happen then? They're cats. He'll leave a little bit more food and water. They'll be fine. Okay, sure, sure, but what if a lot of big limbs start falling or a tree falls on the house? And if we're in the middle of a blizzard, what exactly are you going to do about a big tree that's fallen on our house? Worry? Let's just go to New York. So we go. We get up there, no problem. Check into the hotel, settle in, have a great dinner at the hotel restaurant. And now that we've made the decision, we're here, I'm getting excited for the convention. Friday morning rolls around and we're heading down from our room to the opening ceremonies. And I get a text from the cat sitter. He's at the house, but the snow is already getting pretty bad. And he doesn't know if he's going to be able to make it back in. And so, just as Kim predicted, he's leaving out more food and water. The cats are going to be fine. I let that go, and I start to embrace this convention. And it is an awesome time. Not only were there stars that were expected to be there, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Rebecca Lucas, Anthony Rapp, they had unexpected guests, Tommy Tune, Ben Vereen. People in amazing costumes from every show you can imagine. And it's this melding of these two passions I have had for so long, and the energy is palpable, and I am so happy I made this decision. Saturday morning comes, and it's becoming clear that they missed the call on how the snow was going to hit New York. Every time I pass a window, snow is piling up higher. It gets so bad that they close the roads to civilian traffic, no cars. And ironically, that night, for the first time in decades, every Broadway show is canceled. And as the snow is piling up, as I look out our hotel window, 5 or 6 blocks from Central Park, and I can't see it, I'm realizing that I'm feeling nothing. None of this is my responsibility. If anything bad happens, it's not my job to fix it. And so for the first time in 5 years, snow is pretty again. More than that, it's magical. Saturday night, Kim and I head out to one of the few restaurants that's open. And we're walking up the middle of 6th Avenue. No cars, just us and a few other pedestrians. Gorgeous snow blowing around us. It was a magical and rare sight. I was lucky to see it. Sunday comes and we decide to leave a little early before the con officially closes. We leave a little before noon. Getting out of Manhattan is a little dicey, but we make it to the Lincoln Tunnel okay. 95 South is pretty clear all the way down. But once we get off the highway and get onto the residential streets, things are a lot more dicey. And when we reach our neighborhood, it's completely unplowed with 2 feet of snow. We're not getting in tonight. So I pull into a parking lot that's been plowed and we discuss. Maybe we should go to a hotel tonight. You know, I think that's a great idea. There were a couple that we saw that were open. You make a reservation, we'll just stay. I still think I need to go check on the house and the cats. Why? I just need to see it with my own eyes. So, I bundle up and I start walking. And as I do, all of the paranoia and crazy thoughts and worries that I've had just come flooding back in. I picture that house, or that tree bisecting my house. I picture the cats freezing and hungry and cowering. Or maybe they've run off. Or maybe they've been devoured by coyotes. I walk into the neighborhood. I see that all the houses have electricity, a good sign. I get to the house. The tree is where it belongs. The house is undamaged. I get to the front door, fish out my keys, open it. The cats run up to me. They're happy, they're fine, and after they've satisfied their curiosity, they turn right around and go back to their sofa. And I can only laugh at myself because of all that worry, all that back and forth in my mind, and now here I am, the cats are healthy, The house is sound. We didn't even lose power. So I've kind of learned not to let those worries take over quite as much anymore. And I am immensely grateful that I got to be at that initial Broadway con, the energy of a new con, the uniqueness of that historic snowstorm. They helped me gather and keep something that I can have forever. Some very precious memories, la da 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 da.